I couldn't totally remember from when we talked about your time with the Lakers last year, like if your timeline and his timeline like linked up.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it did. 2 years, I was with the Defenders both years. I went to training camp, in 2015 with the Lakers, and would see Kobe often, in the building because we shared the same building, and our paths definitely crossed. And then in 13, 14, I was an assistant there. Same thing. We were in the same building, so I was around him quite a bit actually.
what has today been like for you as a guy who was around him a significant amount during kind of the latter portion of his career?
Yeah, just stunned really because the living icon. All the cliches are true. He seemed bigger than life, and to be able to watch someone that was at the absolute top of their craft, how he went about his business and competed and prepared his body, and then in the later years, obviously, how he was trying to recover from his injuries and the work he put in and the diligence in his rehab to get back on the floor. I mean, it was just phenomenal to be around someone that driven. It's just that's what really sticks out is how driven the guy was, and you're hearing it all day long. What a competitor, and it's absolutely true.
Do you have like a favorite memory of like a practice or a conversation you've had with him or something like that?
He was an intellectual, really, and my first training camp with the Lakers, I was in Hawaii, and I just remember he'd come up to me, and you could tell he was trying to see if I knew what I was talking about, and he'd ask me, conceptually questions that I knew he knew the answer to, and he was just kind of sizing me up to see who this new guy was, and I passed the test, I guess, and he and I were always real friendly after that. So, nothing that sticks out as a specific story. Just, you're kind of in awe of the guy. He had that quality about him, that charisma. He just, he was a walking, talking legend,
Right, totally. I guess everyone has like a favorite. I was thinking about it today. Like my favorite moment is actually his last game when he dropped 60. What's your favorite, like from a game of favorite Kobe moment?
Well, it was interesting. I was with the Chicago Bulls in 06, 07, and that was the year we were rumored that he wanted out of LA and that he wanted to come to Chicago. So the whole year, leading up to the trade deadline, we were kind of all sitting on our hands, wondering if this was going to happen. And just going. My favorite moment is really just the first time, coaching against him back then. I think we split the series that year, and just seeing him up close. I mean, because when he came into the league, I was 25, still a relatively young guy, and not yet coaching basketball, so truly a fan. And then, nearly 20 years later, to be coaching in the same organization, and prior to that, coaching against him was just kind of surreal. This is the greatest player of our generation for sure, and to be in an NBA game and Staples Center and coaching against Kobe Bryant, and then the United Center coaching against Kobe Bryant was truly surreal to me. And that's what I remember those first times, really seeing him up close and live was like, oh, I get it. I get it. It plays a little different than on TV. This guy, there's just something about him. He moves different. He carries himself different. And, the way he would will his team to victory. And those were kind of underperforming Laker teams at that point, too. And he could still single-handedly win a game.
I'm sure he was. I know after he retired, he's kind of been doing a lot with his daughter's team and with youth basketball. But what was he kind of around the Lakers still after he retired?
No, he really wasn't. I mean, he'd come to, when Rob Pelinka was named general manager, that was obviously Kobe's agent. He was there with his family for that press conference and, would make some appearances here and there. But he was really devoted to moving on to that, the next chapters of his life. And, you're seeing everything now about how devoted he was to his family, and then, basketball wise, specifically his daughter, and, big proponent of women's basketball, which was, he was going to be a great vehicle, great promoter of women's basketball, because people are going to listen to Kobe Bryant. I think last week he just, named 3 or 4 WNBA players that he said could play in the NBA right now. And that's, when Kobe Bryant says it, people listen. And it's just, again, it's just stunning, that he's gone.
Right. Totally. I guess, and then you kind of talked about it a little bit, but just kind of what was your personal relationship like with him in the couple of years that you guys overlapped?
It was good. Like I said, I was in the G League, but he, what impressed me, and it was genuine, is that he always knew how we were doing. The defenders at the time, how we were doing. He'd know our record and know the players on our team, and they were really struggling that year, and he'd kid me and say, wish we had your record. That makes you feel good when Kobe Bryant's telling you that. And just a knowledgeable guy. He wasn't. It wasn't aloof to anybody in the building. Certainly on the court, there were no friends, and that was always a joy to watch those guys practice, because he brought a level of intensity that I'd never seen before and haven't seen since. I mean, he's just a fierce competitor, and it was time to go to work, and you got to see greatness in action. But yeah, he was really charming, intelligent guy, and he was going to do great things. It's just, I'm at a loss for words, really.
Yeah, yeah, you said it best, man. It's just mind-blowing day for sure.
Yeah, makes no sense.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I got for you. I guess I'm certainly guess people have different ideas of where he'll kind of rank as far as like top 10, top 5 players of all time. For you, where is he ranked? Just haven't seen him up close for so long.
No, that's always an interesting conversation, or, kind of exercises, name your top 5 NBA players, and, kind of go by position. And, I don't think you get down the list too far before Kobe Bryant's in that conversation. I mean, just with the amount of titles he won, and, he's certainly one of the most iconic Lakers to ever do it. And, he's an all-time great. It's hard to say he's 1, 2, 3, or 4. But guys, I mean, think about what he's done for a generation. I mean, for 20 years, he inspired basketball players all over this world, and as the game grew globally, he was a big part of that. He always would tease that he was going to go back to Italy and play there. Obviously he lived there with his dad when he was playing. So, and then when I was in China, he was bigger than life. Huge. China loved Kobe Bryant, and you just kind of saw his footprint globally, and he inspired a lot of people to play this game. That's for sure.